This is a special presentation of Farm Journal Television.
Welcome to Harvest of Thanks. I'm Clinton Griffiths. Each and every year at this time, we pay tribute to America's farmers and ranchers. This year, we're asking you to dream huge with us. Andrew McCrae is with Farmers Feeding the World, a campaign with lofty goals. Andrew, tell us about it.
Well, Farmers Feeding the World is helping meet the needs of those that are hungry right now. But we're also looking at future needs. We know that we'll add 3 billion people in the next 40 years. We need 70% more food than we grow right now. So we're finding sustainable ways to feed the hungry in the future. And we're telling the story of American agriculture with those here at home. So we have big goals. We're asking all of American agriculture to help us in the effort.
All right, thanks, Andrew. And let's learn more about Farmers Feeding the World.
If you asked me how we do it, I could tell you it's a miracle. But it's not. It's not our politics, our money, the water we drink, or this incredible place we call home. It's not any of the things that make us so different from each other, and there are a lot of those. It's the things we agree on, like feeding families, children, being good stewards of the earth, and knowing that 1 billion people who starve across the globe every year really don't have to. If you're like me, you used to think that food comes from grocery stores. And that was okay. Until now. But when thousands of men and women across this great country decided to help those 1 billion men, women, and children all across the globe in a way that only they could, it wasn't because they were kings or queens or senators or presidents. Some were big, most were small. And they only have 2 things in common. They're in a better position than anyone else in the world to do something about the problem. And they're all American farmers.
That's what I like about the family farm. It's the culture. We're doers. We just don't talk about it, we do it. When I look at the people that are being given this challenge, I know they face challenges every day. It's the weather, it's the markets, it's maybe their financial needs. Who knows what challenge they're facing? But they always go into it head on, and they will accomplish their goals. We're a group that when we look at everything in front of us, we come up with a plan and we try to address it. Yeah, we're not going to make a big end road in my lifetime, but we got to start somewhere, and we got to start now.
Since 1970, the world population has doubled. Today, there's less available land for farming than ever before. The pressure for our natural resources continues to grow, and the 6.8 billion people on our planet today will soon be 9.
You know, when I talk to our friends in the city, it doesn't matter whether it's San Francisco or Chicago, I think they all care. They just don't know how they can help do it.
The average American farmer feeds 155 people a day, compared to just 38 just a few decades ago. That's 20% of the world, using just 10% of the land. Can American farmers produce even more food and protect the planet at the same time? Research and technology have already made us the most productive agricultural community in history, but we can't do this alone. World-class organizations like Heifer International have developed proven models and methods that end the cycle of starvation in sustainable ways, teaching people in this country and throughout the world to feed themselves, who in turn teach their neighbors to do the same.
No child should suffer. No child should be hungry. We have to do this. The American farmer produced the food to feed the American population that's enabled our country to be who we are. And it's one of the most extraordinary gifts we have to offer the rest of the world.
American agriculture has come a long way, but there are still children and adults here and all over the globe who have nothing to eat, who care nothing for politics, committees, or speeches, who know only that they have nothing to eat, and that when you and I sit down for dinner tonight, they won't.
The unfairness of it is overwhelming, and it doesn't have to be that way.
Now, American farmers are taking a stand to help feed 1 billion starving people by supporting food banks for urgent need due to crisis, and frontline organizations like Heifer International that help people to pull themselves up by their bootstraps. Farmers Feeding the World will make a permanent difference.
So little goes so far.
You can help. Visit farmersfeedingtheworld.org to see how easy it is. Help teach 1 billion starving people how they can begin to feed themselves. This is more than a promise.
We can feed the world. We can feed the world.
This is something that works.
You never feel so good about yourself as when you're doing something for someone else.
Farmers Feeding the World. This message has been made possible in part by a grant from the Howard G. Buffett Foundation.
As you can see, we're dreaming big here, and we hope all of agriculture will join us.
We'll hear more about Farmers Feeding the World later in the show. But coming up next, our harvest tour begins in North Dakota.
Harvest of Thanks is brought to you by Farmers Feeding the World. Agriculture leading the way in feeding a hungry planet. Learn more. Give generously. Dream huge with us.
Some people tend to dream small. Others dream big. But with agriculture's ability to feed the 1 billion hungry people on the planet and a projected global population of 9 billion by the year 2050, it's time to dream huge. Farmers Feeding the World is about agriculture coming together to increase both hunger solutions and food production. Learn more. Give generously. Please dream huge with us.
Farmers Feeding the World is about agriculture coming together to increase both hunger solutions and food production. It's right there, between can and do. Learn more. Give generously. Dream huge.
I've traveled around the world a lot. I've witnessed what we're trying to address here, and that's hunger. There's 6 billion people on the face of the planet today, and they say there's over 1 billion of them that have poor nutrition. They go to bed hungry. And I come back home and I witness the incredible productivity that takes place in American agriculture across our country. Somehow we need to do a better job of getting the food to those people that are in need. I guess when I look at Farmers Feeding the World, I say to myself, what do we really hope to accomplish? I hope we accomplish a design of a system that has a legacy that goes on for multiple generations. And I think with the knowledge that is possessed within agriculture, the funding that is within agriculture, we can get this accomplished.
Farmers Feeding the World is about agriculture coming together to increase both hunger solutions and food production. Learn more. Give generously. Dream huge.
Harvest in the Northern Plains played out under mostly sunny skies this fall. A big change from the previous 2 years when flooding and early blizzards proved challenging for even the best farmers. We head to North Dakota to meet a grower basking in a quick and bountiful harvest. On the plains of North Dakota, golden wheat gently waves. This is the crop of choice for many farmers in this region. But it's another golden crop that keeps North Dakota farmer Bart Schott busy.
Over the past 5 years, corn acres and corn productions have just exploded. We'll have a lot of bushels to handle, and we're really blessed here with this kind of a corn crop.
While many farmers in the Corn Belt were already wrapping up this year's corn harvest, North Dakota growers like Schott were just starting. but it was a huge improvement over last year's soggy shelling.
Today the moisture is 16.5 to 17. It's really drying pretty nice. So picked an excellent day to start our corn harvest here.
Schott is a third-generation farmer on this land that was homesteaded by his grandfather in 1905. He's also president of the National Corn Growers Association. A bit ironic since his home state now leads the nation in wheat production.
Just shows what can happen on an organization that's grassroots driven. Anybody can move up the ranks as long as they're dedicated.
But the true dedication is to family. Bart and wife Lindsay raised 3 boys on this farm. Harvest time is family time. The boys are home to help bring in this year's bounty.
They come home when they can. They all have their own jobs and their own things that they do, so they can't all come for the whole harvest, but they come whenever they can.
2 sons, Mike and Andy, farm their own land. A third son, Peter, is now taking over the family seed business. But when it's harvest time at home, it's all hands on deck.
When the bushels come in, it's just a great crop to harvest. We usually get the family home for that, and so we've got all my sons here and my daughters-in-laws and my granddaughter. It's a great family occasion.
Every year, it's important to look at the big picture to determine your best crop options. Pioneer has the wide-angle vision and the focused resources to help you create the most from every acre. Collaborate in a big way for big success. Pioneer. Science with service, delivering success.
At Case IH, we know successful farming is about being ready. Ready